Hello friends, welcome to GK Sports India YouTube channel for this review of the third test match, a fantastic test match which could not have ended in a better way. The better team win, England winning by 22 runs and taking a 2-1 lead in this 5 test match series with 2 more to go. Here I have our expert K. Srinath to review the Lord's test match where England did the things right, where India could have done better to have got the right, to have ended at the right end of the result. To discuss all this and much more, welcoming K. Srinath, the former player from Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, and now a BCCI panel umpire. Sri, welcome again to the Kumbi-Gikku Show. We review the Lord's test match. How exciting were the end moments going into the final session of the 5th day? Could you have got a better result? Both teams fought till the end and the better team prevailed.
Thank you, Jikku. Absolutely. Real fascinating test match. Tantalizing one. Everybody were left on tenterhooks till the final day. Again, as an Indian, it's a bit tough to digest this defeat. Again, India didn't put a foot wrong till end of day 4. So 1 hour on day 4 and about 45 minutes of that passage of play on day 5. India undid all the good work they had done. Yes, end of the day, a fantastic advertisement for cricket. Which other venue would you want to get a result like this from? The home, the Mecca of Cricket as we call Lords. A fantastic advertisement for cricket. End of the day, I would say, though England pulled it off, they had a couple of good sessions on day 5. End of the day, I would say, Test match cricket was a winner here. A fantastic 5 days of Test match cricket, and now again, it leaves open the series ajar, waiting for about the next 8 or 9 days for the 4th Test match to kick off.
From the high of 336-run victory for India at Edgbaston the previous week to this 22-run victory, I wouldn't want to call it the low of a 22-run defeat because India could have won. India could have been leading 2-1, had some things gone India's way. Could not the ball have gone anywhere else but for the leg stump and gently knock off the bail? Mohammad Siraj did everything that he could as a number 11. And Ravindra Jadeja, what a fantastic batting display. 4 consecutive 50s in this test series, 2 in the Lord's test match. Ravindra Jadeja just held India innings together. When everyone thought the overnight batsman on day 4, KL Rahul, would hold the key to India's victory, ensure that India crossed the line, it was Ravindra Jadeja who fought till the end. And what fantastic partnerships he built with Nitish Reddy for the 8th wicket. Jasprit Bumrah, he seems to have got into the love affair with Lords and batting, just like Joe Root and England and Lords. In 2021, he scored 30 odd runs, sharing that almost 100 runs with Mohammad Shami. And yesterday, 100 minutes of batting, Jasprit Bumrah and Mohammad Siraj. Just that luck was not in India's favor. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, partially I would say luck not being on India's side. As you mentioned, great resilience shown both by Bumrah and Mohammad Siraj. Normally, the adage is the fast bowlers bowled their hearts out. But I thought the sort of steel and resolve they showed was fantastic. Yes, Jadeja has been typically the link between the lower order and the middle order. He's holding the team afloat. And yes, with the sort of experience he's had his 3rd tour of England, and he's the senior most pro in this Indian side. And as you mentioned, statistically, this was his 4th half century in the last 4 innings he's batted, 2 in Edgbaston and 2 at Lords. The icing on the cake would have been Jadeja gone on to get 80 or 90 not out, and India had just crossed the line. But nevertheless, great exhibition of batting skills by Jadeja, because there were a lot of question marks about his ability. People questioned his ability that he's not been able to deliver with the ball, especially in Leeds and at Edgbaston. But he held his game together and showed why he's just not rated as a number one all-rounder in Indian cricket, but currently in world cricket. A fantastic performance overall, because the lower order was the one which caved in like a pack of cards in the first test match in both the innings. But they showed the resolve and came back strongly in this. As I said, nevertheless, a tough defeat to digest, but certainly a couple of days' time, I think India will get over this and come back strongly.
You look at the India's second innings, 82 for 7, and the last 3 wickets added 88, 6 more than the first 7 wickets did. So there is something which we have always been talking about, the tail not wagging when India let the opponent's tail wag deep. But this was something, a welcoming change, isn't it? With Siraj, Bumrah, and of course Nitish Reddy had to bat 2 places down the order because of the night watchman and Akashdeep the previous day. How do you look at this encouraging sign for India going ahead?
It's very encouraging because typically when India plays at home, the top order and middle order, they put up big runs, and normally the tail enders, as you say, they never get to bat, because when India prepares those turners, they don't get to bat at all. I think these tour overseas, as we call as Sena countries, here is where they all get an opportunity to come out and showcase their talent as batters, and obviously they would be doing their bit, trying to get a feel of the ball when they are out in the nets. So certainly, I think they would have been working on their batting skills also. The reflection is, especially Bumrah, who had 4 consecutive zeros before this innings at Lords, and people were talking about his capability as a batter in hand, and which he proved. So it's a very encouraging sign, because we lost Akashdeep, who came in as a night watchman on day 4. I think it's a very encouraging sign. If this can be the sort of resolve and steel Bumrah and Siraj can show, why not? This Indian team bats pretty deep, and with the way they have shown this sort of resilience, it's very, very encouraging.
Just a while ago, you mentioned about Ravindra Jadeja and his bowling efforts in this Test series being questioned. On the other hand, if you look at Ben Stokes, the England all-rounder, his batting has not really clicked while his bowling has been top-notch. And Ben Stokes at the presentation said that is what the all-rounder comes into. Failing in one department makes up with the other departments, which is normally the case. So Jadeja has proved more than just a handful in with the bat in this Test series, hasn't he? And he has been that kind of underrated cricketer who has not. Do you think he has got his due after having played for so long as an all-rounder?
Certainly not. He's never got his due. In fact, he's received a lot of flack and criticism, when he's not delivered. It's a very sorry state of affair. Coming back to the all-rounders role, Gikku, both Jadeja and Ben Stokes, they are true all-rounders. It's just not about their ability to bat and bowl well. They are more than 100% as fielders also. So, I mean, it goes hand in glove. It's like the right hand knows what the left hand is doing. Now, Jadeja has been economical, not really, forthright and really effective with his bowling. But he's done extremely well with the bat. And everybody knows the sort of asset he is on the field. So if he doesn't get going with the ball, there's always an opportunity for an all-rounder to come back and perform with the bat, like what Ben Stokes did, and also fielding. So today's cricket, I think the rarity is we're not seeing the sort of quality all-rounders which we used to maybe in the early 80s till the 90s and mid 90s. I think in modern day cricket, a player like Ben Stokes or a Jadeja, I think they're a luxury to have in the side. In fact, Stokes as the captain, his name would come up first. Even if he was not one, I think his name would be there up in the list. So with Jadeja for the Indian side.
And Ben Stokes led from the front, taking up the responsibility of bowling, picking up wickets, bowling longer spells than his body might have allowed him to. And what a perfect result, coming exactly 6 years to the day when they won the World Cup in England, the first World Cup for England 2019. We all cannot forget how distraught New Zealand were. But then Ben Stokes, 22-run victory for England, which was just about 5 runs less than what West Indies later on were bundled out in the Test match, the third Test of the series in Grenada. Australia bundling them out for 27 in the second innings. So it's all just going well for England. This series 2-1. It could have been India 2-1, isn't it?
Absolutely. In fact, there were messages being sent from McCallum asking Ben Stokes not to bowl. In fact, they say that it's very difficult to get the ball out of Ben Stokes' hand. Now, who's supposed to get the ball out of his hand? He himself is the captain. Yes, you were mentioning about 2019, 6 years before this Test match, the same day, England laying their hand on the coveted World Cup and the 22-run victory at Lord's. When you spoke about these numbers, Jiku, I think just for the viewers to know, 200 runs and less, where India failed in run chases. It all started with the infamous 1997 Barbados Test match, when we had the famed batting lineup of Tendulkar, Lakshman, Dravid, and Ganguly, where India failed to chase down 120. I think that was one of the most, horrifying defeat which India couldn't get over for a long, long time. Then came Gal in 2015, where India failed to chase down 176. Then again was England in 2018 in Edgbaston, where India were in a comfortable position, failed to chase down 196. And recently, India did not get past 147 against New Zealand in Wankhede. And to top it all, so near it so far, having dominated close to 3 days of cricket. I would say the first 3 days were typically even Stevens, where both the teams, evening out on the first inning score of 387. And everybody was talking about the nature of the pitch, which was very docile and could not produce a result. And there was a trigger moment on day 3, which literally, opened up the next 2 days of cricket to follow. And then the last one was this 22-run defeat in Lord's. So just for the viewers to know that the fifth time around, in the last about 20 odd years, India has failed to chase down a fourth inning score of less than 200.
See, what could India do to get over this jinx?
I mean, it's not jinx per se, I would say, but the top order on day 4, when they were chasing a paltry score of 192. I think these low scores, when they are being chased down, are a pretty tricky one. You normally see the openers go hell for broke, and you get a quick partnership of 50-60 up front, which was expected from Jaiswal. Unfortunately, he didn't look comfortable in his short stay and was out without troubling the scorers. India losing 3 of their 4 top order batters on day 1, and Akashdeep coming in as a night watchman when India were 58 for 4. I think more than 60-70% of the plot was lost there, because the new ball was doing quite a bit. Had India survived the end of day 4, maybe at about 60-70 for 2, I think the writing would have been different on day 5. I think that's the small passage of play when India lost the plot. And yes, as we all know, when day 5 started, it was KL Rahul who held the key for this run chase. And we had a real deep batting order after that. Rishabh Pant, followed by Jadeja, followed by Washington Sundar and Nitish Reddy. Still, it wasn't an impossible target to chase down. But what damage Jofra Archer did on the morning of day 5, I think India were flat, and even I was one of them who thought that we just had to, do the honors, come back after lunch. It was about 15-20 minutes. But rest was all history, as we saw the resilience of Bumrah and Siraj along with Jadeja.
When play resumed on day 5, India needed 135 to win, 90 overs. It was just about 1.5 runs an over. So time was not a constraint, and number of overs not at all any restriction. And even after lunch, when it was India needed just one run and over in the remaining overs to just knock off the runs. But then, no, these kind of passage of plays and the highs and lows. When did you believe India lost it? Was it day 4 when India lost 4 wickets, or Rahul and Pant falling in quick succession and opening the tail with Jadeja?
It's a combination of both. Yes, I lost a lot of hopes when India were down 4 for 58 on day 4. But still was pretty confident, as I mentioned, about the long batting order India had. But losing both Rahul and Pant within the first 20 minutes of play, I think that looked more like, the writing was on the wall. But as I said, India didn't put a foot wrong, barring those 90-95 minutes of play, because the bowlers did a fantastic job in this test match. Mind you, Bumrah coming back for India, and also Jofra Archer making a comeback into the England whites after 4.5 years. So the talk was all about the two tearaway fast bowlers. I think end of the day, both of them really did make an impact, and the most impactful one was that of Jofra Archer. Nevertheless, Bumrah landed up on the honours board in the first innings with a 5-4, which is known for whenever he turns out playing for India with red ball. Yes, but I thought it was a combination of the loss of wickets on day 4 and once Rahul and Pant were back in the hut on day 5. I think to me the writing was on the wall, and it was just a matter of time as to when England would get those wickets, not India knocking off those runs.
I thought that if England were to win, they would finish it off before lunch, or if India were to win, they would take it a little after lunch. But then they did extremely well to take it beyond tea, and it was fantastic for 5 days of cricket. First innings of both the teams could not have ended on a better note. 387 England, 387 India. KL Rahul, second time on the honours board at Lords, a fantastic 100. He could have gone on to score more. And Rishabh Pant, that unnecessary dismissal, run out just before lunch. What was going through Rishabh Pant's mind? Was KL Rahul? I don't think KL Rahul was so keen to finish his 100 just before lunch. It was all, I would just entirely lay it on Rishabh Pant and his whatever poor decision.
I thought that was one of the most defining moments of the test match. You mentioned both the teams were even Stevens, 387 in the first innings. The difference of India making those 387 or getting to a 450, 460 was that crucial run out of Rishabh Pant. And we all should understand that KL Rahul is not getting to his first test match 100. It was his 10th test match 100, out of which 900s he's made abroad. And England is one of his favourite side. He's got 500s against England, including this one at Lords. Yes, a lead of 60, 70. I wouldn't be greedy saying India should have got a lead of 200. But had Rishabh Pant gone on to bat for a much longer time, he would have been in a different gear after Rahul would have got his 100. Yes, of course, we are all talking about this in hindsight. But 60, 70 runs lead, India would have looked really menacing when they had come out to bowl in that second innings. And mind you, if India had a cushion of the 60-run lead, they would have ended up chasing only 120 or 130 in the fourth innings. You never know. The game would have been over on day 4 itself. Nobody would have turned up on day 5 at Lords. I think that was one of the most defining moments of the test match. And I think even Ben Stokes in his post-match presser even mentioned about that. Because we all know how destructive Rishabh Pant can be. I think it was one of those brain-fed moments. In fact, he stuttered that bit, in the middle before he literally tried to make it. And he was out by a canter, actually. So, yes, as we say, there are certain small moments in a 5-day test match that really create a big impact. I think this run out of Rishabh Pant to me was a turning point. And from there, it was no looking back for England.
And like both the teams finished on the same score in the first innings. Only 9 times in the history of almost 150 years of Test cricket has this happened, and twice involving India and England. The last time was the 390 India and England at Edgbaston, the match that India drew in the 1986 series. So it's something very rare, isn't it? Did you ever think that this match would end in a tie? I had. So I just it was something. Why not? Why not match end in a tie when people are thinking about an England victory or an India pulling it off? I was just hoping how nice it would be if it ended in a tie. Perfect result. First innings, same scores. Second innings, same scores. All 40 wickets. A memorable test match to think for a long, long time.
I think you're giving the viewers, the idea of what results could be achieved in a test match. It could be a draw. It could be a tie in first innings and a draw, one team winning, the other team losing, and the game ending in a tie. Yeah,
Right.
fantastic. Yeah, that would have been an apt result. But I think end of the day, the team which held on to the nerves, played those pressure moments better, is what I would say came out triumph in this game.
Sri, Akashdeep, mentioned about Akashdeep, 10 wickets in the previous test match at Edgbaston. But what happened to him in this Lord's test match? Like you mentioned in the preview, that first timers at Lord's will find it, they take time to adjust, especially with the kind of slope at Lord's. What did Akashdeep go through in this Lord's test match?
I mean, you see how great the leveler this game can be. 10 wickets just about 4 days back. We all thought his tail would be up, and yes, to before that, I should say that it was pretty disappointing to see the sort of surface that was laid out.
Hmm.
The picture we got the day before the game was a real green one, and everybody was really happy to see that England at last decided to go in to play on a green top. But come the game, again, it was a dry surface, absolutely devoid of any grass. Yes, coming to Akashdeep, I think nerves, uh, you know, getting over him. And yes, as I said, it's not easy to come into Lord's first time around. The sort of aura the ground has, the history the ground possesses, as we have seen when the players walk out through the long room and the long walk they need to have, get onto the ground. All these things certainly, it's a double-edged sword. It one can pump you up and it can really pull you down also. And we had a full house on all 5 days, a massive Indian support also, and yes, not much help from the pitch per se on the first 3 days. And maybe I thought he was not getting his radar right. And of course, Bumrah coming back, he made a huge impact. It should have been that much more easier for Akashdeep to bowl in tandem with their experienced Bumrah and Siraj. Yes, could say, one of those test games wherein he was slightly off radar and maybe a bit of nerves also. But yes, it would have been a learning for him. You never know if he's around for long enough and one more tour of England. Maybe he gets back to Lords and he has one more go there. He might definitely be, much more experienced cricketer by that time.
Among all these individual achievements like KL Rahul's century, Joe Root's, no, he seems to have a love affair with the Lord's cricket ground, scoring the most number of centuries at this particular ground. Bumrah's 5 wicket haul. One cannot forget Washington Sundar's contribution, especially in the second innings. 4 wickets that set up the match to where it ended and dismissing England to under 200. How good was Washington Sundar? And we saw some patches of his brilliance when he got Ben Stokes out leg before in the second test. But Washington Sundar and 4 for 22. Not many gave him, or not many thought that he would pick up those many number of wickets, especially at Lords. Did you believe he would take 4 or 5 wickets in an innings?
Yeah, before I get to this, you're speaking about the love affair Joe Root has with Lords. I think if he goes on to play Test match cricket for another 5, 6 years, he's only 34. They might have to put up a separate honors board for him. It would say that it's Joe Root's personal honor board. Because if he's going to end up getting another 400s at Lords, I think they have to have
Right.
a separate board for him. The name cannot be repetitive, every year. Jokes apart,
Right.
yeah, Washi, I wouldn't say I was surprised that he got a 4-4. Nobody gave him a chance as one side of it.
Hmm.
But the way he bowled, even in the first innings, he was able to get a lot of drift.
Hmm.
And coming to that, I thought Shubman Gill was pretty defensive in his captaincy. He did not press to use his spinners more. As we saw, 30, 35 overs, when the ball got a little bit older, the faster bowlers did not get the same sort of help that they were getting it till the ball got to 40 overs. And where there was some help from the surface for the spinners, I think both Jadeja with his experience and Washington Sundar, I think they should be bowled more because we've seen palpable over rates, 15 overs not being bowled on a given day, and where we are heading to see 90 overs being bowled in a day. In fact, Michael Vaughan made a very casual statement saying that these blokes are too rich. They won't mind just losing out on a quid if there are going to be hefty fines for over rates. I think this has been a point that has been discussed very widely over a period of time.
Hmm.
Where I think last year England were docked a few points because of the over rates in England. And Ben Stokes was pretty vociferous. He said that ICC has to look into this particular area where a team has to bowl a lot of faster bowlers. You can't get into bowl those 90 overs. I think that's not an excuse you can give at all. You know, why do the paying public come in? They come in to watch 90 overs of cricket. You have 6 hours of play plus half an hour permitted extra time. If you're not able to bowl 90 overs in 6.5 hours, you can't have 7.5 hours of cricket on a daily basis to bowl 90 overs. I think this is where even the over rates would have come up because both of them are very accurate bowlers
Hmm.
and extremely happy for Washi because he had a pretty decent outing with the bat in the first innings, an unfortunate dismissal in the second innings. Again, if you talk about a frontline off spinner, very big shoes to replace.
Hmm.
But yes, if you talk about future for Indian cricket, I think he is the one because Jadeja is not getting younger by the day. He's 36. We don't know how much of fuel is left in his tank and how long he can continue. But for the future of Indian cricket, if you're looking at an all-rounder, left-hand batter and an off-spinner, it's Washington Sundar.
And talking about slow over rates, Sanjay Manjrekar has been very vocal about having to overwork every single day. Even they added half an hour towards end just to make up for the 90 overs, which is still not achieved. Sri, I want to just finish with 2 points. One, the drama of the third day evening, the last over, or when England came out to bat, second innings, there were 6 minutes of play left, but the openers did everything they could to play as few deliveries as possible. India certainly not happy. And secondly, there was the phase where Ben Stokes had 7 on the onside when India were batting. Especially, I think it was that session when KL Rahul and Karun Nair were batting. These 2 points, can you just say what it is? Can't the umpires come in and say 6 minutes play left, 2 overs, delay whatever you want, whatever the tactics you want to, but we are going to have 2 overs of play before we call stumps. And this restrictions on, there cannot be restrictions on how many fielders you have, except of course you cannot have two behind square on the onside. But then what do you look at these 2 points, and if you can, as being an umpire, how do you act?
First thing on the restriction of fielders on the leg side. In a T20 or 50 over cricket, you cannot have more than 5 fielders.
It is test match cricket, not limited overs cricket. So you can have wherever the captain wants, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So let me clarify. Not more than 5 fielders on the leg side when you're playing T20 or 50 over cricket. That's a field restriction which is mandatory. When it comes to test match cricket, you can have as many, 9 on the leg side. The law does not permit more than 2 beyond the popping crease. If you have more than 2, it's a no ball. Well, that's one side of it. I think England played very well within the laws and periphery of the playing condition, negative, whatever you can call it. It was about restricting the Indian scoring. That's what they did. Coming to 6 minutes of play left, wherein England openers ensured that India bowled only one at them. When I played, I have indulged in such tactics, delaying tactics, ensured we walked off the park.
Oh.
Now, the umpires could have stepped in. Yes, once there was a halt because they saw some movement behind the bowler's hand. And next, when Zach Crawley got hit on the hand, he said he wanted medical treatment. The playing conditions allows 4 minutes of treatment for a fielder on the field of play. It could be a batter, it could be a bowler, or any fielder. So if he's not ready by the time, he can leave the field. So very well within the playing condition, they used that rule to their comfort and they got going. So I think if India were in England's position, they certainly would have done the same thing. But end of it, no bad blood. But I think the tipping point for this test match, which was quite dull till that phase of play, the end of third day's play, I think that really fueled everything. The end result was England gained out of that spark that literally flew on day three. So that's it. I think you can call it gamesmanship, playing well within the framework of the rules and playing condition. Yes, as umpires, maybe many a times in this test match, I think they could have stepped in to ensure they had control, especially per se in terms of the ball changes. Maybe yes, as a play control team, they would certainly look into it, and we would have a new set of umpires coming in for the fourth and fifth test match, wherein I think they would address it differently. But overall, yes, that was good for the game of cricket, and the end result. I think England would be the most happiest one in this.
Certainly, any team would want to delay and face few overs or few deliveries when it comes to close off play. India have certainly done it many times. And even in the series, I remember when Mohammad Siraj was batting at one of the previous test matches, he tried to delay as much as he could. But then that is all part and parcel. If it is well within the rules, why not? And like you said, yes, England certainly benefited from that, whatever spark or exchange of words or heat of the moment, how even Shubman Gill reacted. So it's all just fun to watch. And Ravi Shastri said if he were wearing the India's hat, he would also be doing the same thing. And you have done it, like you said, you admitted that you have done it when you were playing. So it's all just some entertainment and something beyond just the bat and ball contest on the field of play. So I think we have covered enough of the Lord's Test match. Looking ahead to the Old Trafford Test match, 8 days gap, 23rd of July. So we promise our viewers we'll be back with the preview of the fourth Test match of this Anderson-Tendulkar trophy. Thank you very much, Sri, and so kind of you to have admitted you did it in your playing days. Now you're an umpire, so you have to be controlling everything now. So
vigilant.
So on that note, thank you once again, Sri. Fantastic views, fantastic thoughts, insights. See you again. Thank you, viewers. Take care. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Thank you.